Happy New Year to everyone. Happy New Year. And today we're talking all things West Indies cricket. We're going to be reviewing West Indies 2022 team, their West Indies cricket team, but reviewing the test team. What did West Indies accomplish, in test cricket in the year 2022? And so West Indies in 2022, believe it or not, they only played three series. One against England earlier in the year 2022 in March. Then we played another series against Bangladesh. It's in the summer, June, July, and then recently they played against Australia in November and December. Only three series we played for the entire year. Believe it or not, only three series. Against England, one that was at home in the Caribbean. We beat them comprehensively in the third test to win the series 1-0. Against Bangladesh, we destroyed Bangladesh, winning 2-0, and we lost terribly, super terribly, to the Aussies in Australia, right? But let's just review how these series went. So, of course, the first one was West Indies beating England 1-0. I know on the screen you're seeing 2-0. No, we beat England 1-0 in earlier this year in March and April. So the first test that was in North Sound, Antigua, and England, of course, the visitors coming here with a big, strong team, big, strong, and mighty. Winning the toss, of course, they're gonna bat first, and so they decided to bat first. And it was on a flat track. England mustered up 300 plus runs. West Indies, in return, surprisingly, mustered over 300 as well. And what we really enjoyed about West Indies was the amount of overs they spent in the middle. They batted 150 plus overs. Nkrumah Banner getting a century, and he was out there all day. Nkrumah Banner facing over 300 deliveries for his century, right? Strike rate in the low 30s, but he batted more than 50 overs for his century. A slow century, but nonetheless, he got to spend time in the middle. And, in the second innings, England mustered up a lot of runs again, 300 plus again. And then West Indies made 140 odd for 4. And, it was a test match that was going nowhere. It was just a drawn test match, a very boring test match, in the sense of nothing was happening. It was just too batting friendly, nothing in it for the bowlers. So the second test, we moved on and we went to Kensington Oval, Barbados. Usually you get a lot of bounce there. Usually the bowlers would be in it. But surprisingly, this time around, Kensington was another batting paradise. So our seamers struggled again. England mustering 500 plus. But then West Indies in response only scored 411. But what we liked was they batted 188 overs. West Indies batted 2.25 days. 2 days and a quarter. Let that sink in. West Indies batted 2.25 days. 188 overs. Remember, it's 90 overs a day. West Indies batted more than 2 days. Craig Brathwaite, the captain, the Rock, made 160. It was a brilliant innings from Craig Brathwaite. Then, of course, West Indies bowlers, they got whacked around in the second innings because England needed quick runs to set West Indies a target because West Indies batted so long in the first innings. But then West Indies in the second innings again, Craig Brathwaite showing all his patience, all his skill. He's the wall, 56 off 184 deliveries, ensure that West Indies got another draw. It was another boring test. So in the third test now, they went to Grenada, and this time West Indies won the toss, and of course Craig Brathwaite elected to bowl. I guess, if we're not winning the series, might as well try it, right? And so England were in for a big surprise. West Indies just ran through the top order. Kyle Mayers, he was in sublime form, Kyle Mayers doing some wonders with the ball, and Jaden Seals as well, as West Indies bowled out England for 204 on day one, in the final over of day one. But I think West Indies would have felt a little perturbed by the fact that they had England about 120 for 9, but that last wicket partnership, number 10 and 11 both getting 40s. That was embarrassing. And we didn't want that to haunt us, but West Indies responded with 200 plus runs. Joshua De Silva scoring a century, batting with the tail, because West Indies was 170 out for 8. But Kimar Roach, Josh De Silva, they had a wonderful time of it. So it was just wonderful. It was magnificent to watch Josh De Silva get that century, right? And he just played with that maturity. West Indies then rumbled out England for 120, and guess who was at the forefront again with the ball? Kyle Riku Mayers, 5 for 18. Getting rid of Joe Root twice in that match. Kyle Riku Mayers, 5 for 18 from 17 overs. England bowled out 120. West Indies then only needing 28 runs to win, knock it off in 5 overs. John Campbell, Craig Brathwaite, easy, easy, easy. A reminiscence of what we did in 2019, right? And so, West Indies beating England 1-0. Yet again, the English struggling to beat West Indies in Caribbean conditions in Test cricket. Wow! And then Bangladesh came here, and it was just, again, the first test always seemed to go to Antigua. West Indies rumbling out Bangladesh 100. Azari, Joseph, and Jaden Sees both getting 3 fours. Shakib Al-Hasan, the only person with some, resolve. When West Indies batted now, they made 265. Craig Brathwaite again, the rock. He made at 94, a solid half century. Bangladesh in response made 200 plus, right? But, West Indies just needed 88 or 87 to win. We had a little fumble at the start, but then, Brathwaite, gone, and Reefer, gone, and so forth. But John Campbell and Jermaine Blackwood, both of them came together. John Campbell gets the Jermaine Blackwood. Cruised and we won the first test easy, 88 for 3, right? Just a little worry with Raymond Reefer's dismissal, and he didn't make a lot of runs through in both innings of the test match. But apart from that, it was a fairly easy test match, right? And then the second test again, it was a comprehensive victory. We don't even want to spend a lot of time reviewing this one because again, same issue. Bangladesh, 200 and a little bit struggling, lost a lot of early wickets in the first and the second session. Nothing strange out of the ordinary from the first test. And then now in West Indies batted now, guess who again? Kyle Riku Mayers. Kyle Riku Mayers made 146. West Indies started well at the top. We start to lose our way in the middle, lost a couple of quick wickets. We were like we were 80 something without loss, and then we were like 120 for 3. But Kyle Riku is making that 146. Ensured West Indies were going to get well above 300. So in Bangladesh, got bowled out again, 180 something. Then the two openers went out there to chase like 12 or 11 or something like that. And it was just too easy, right? West Indies winning by 10 wickets. So beating Bangladesh 2-0, beating England 1-0. And so far it was a good year of Test cricket. Well, that was about to change when we went to Australia. We went to Australia, West Indies ran, as Vibe Spartan would say, Boko Bina. Ran into Steve Smith, and we ran into Marnus Labuschagne, possibly the two best batsmen currently in Test cricket, And so we ran into both of them and they both made double century. They clobbered West Indies, they clobbered us. But the only positive that we can take from that first test match, even though we didn't get lots of wickets, Australia 500 and out for 4. The good thing we can take from that is the opening stand between Tej Narayan Chanderpaul and Craig Brathwaite. Brathwaite and Tej, both of them made a 50-plus stand in both innings of the first test. And bearing in mind, this is Tej Narayan Chanderpaul's first match playing for West Indies, and he's playing in Australia. Probably the most difficult condition to get your first test in, Australia or South Africa, So Tej Narayan got a 51 and a 45 in the first and second innings. Brathwaite 64 and 110. So our opening stand was solid in the first test in Australia. We can give them praise for that. But apart from that, it was a nothing game really. When you look at nothing game for West Indies, when you look at it, we only got about 6 wickets in the entire match. Australia scored more than 700 runs for 6 wickets in total innings. And then West Indies were bowled out twice, losing 20 wickets. And, so a lot of people might look at the score and says, it looked like it was a good game, but it wasn't even a contest if we're being honest, right? But with the positive, Tej Narayan and Brathwaite looks like a good combination at the top. And then the second test, it was just repeat dosage again. You know, Travis Head, Marnus Labusche, and Steve Smith. These guys just plumbering us again. They made this time 511 for 7. So we took more wickets, but we plummeled again. Then in the batting, again, it was Tejna and Shandapal who made 40 yard and 17. He top scored in both innings, but West Indies struggled to make 200 properly in the first innings, and in the second innings they got bowled out for like 70 something. Very embarrassing, but match was finished inside 3.5 days, somewhere of that sort, and West Indies really only batted for like half a day if you combine two innings, or maybe a little more than half a day. So it was very embarrassing. We lost, but one positive we can take away was Tejna and Chandapal's bravery, and his attitude was right in his first series, right? And so that sums up the year 2022. So let's just look at their statistics that I'm showing you here, starting with the bat. Looking at the bat, Craig Brathwaite, he was the leading run scorer for West Indies. 14 innings from the 7 matches, 687 runs, average above 50. That's always good. You always want to have three persons averaging above 50 in a calendar year, right? However, Tejna and Chandapal was the next best, averaging 40. And he only played that one series against Australia and averaged 40. That's pretty good. John Campbell, he averaged 35. A lot of persons wanted John Campbell, but if you look at it, he's actually our third best batsman apart from the opener, so then he'd be next in line, right? So, those are interesting numbers. John Campbell averaging 35, from the 10 innings this year, and, he was looking pretty good. Concerns for West Indies would possibly be Shamar Brooks, who we've identified as a possible number 3. Shamar Brooks, Raymond Reed, both of them struggled batting at number 3. West Indies seem to we need to fix that issue. We need to resolve who's our number 3. Is it Shamar Brooks? Is it Raymond Reed, both averaging below 15? That's some concern. Jason Holder, one of our premier all-rounders, getting a promotion of the order, averaging less than 20. He got promoted to bat at number 6. So, Jason Holder need to step up a little bit. And that's pretty much our batting. So apart from Craig Brathwaite, Tej Narayan, and John Campbell, apart from the openers then, we weren't getting much runs from the middle order. And then with the bowling now, again, Azari Joseph, what a year he's been having in terms of wickets. 27 wickets, he's been causing a lot of problems for a lot of batsmen. But if you look at that average and economy, it doesn't suggest that he's doing a great deal, but he's actually bowling better than his average and economy suggests. When you look at the bowler with the best economy and the best average, guess who it is? You probably guessed it right, Kyle Rico Mayers. Look at that. 14 wickets, averaging 11.86, economy 31. So that means every 5 overs, Kyle Rico Mayers is getting a wicket, and he's only going for like 12 runs. So, but we want to highlight in black and green right there. If you look at the struggles for West Indies this year, it has been what? Our premier all-rounder Jason Holder averaging 91 and strike rate 194. So Holder is bowling 32 overs before he gets a wicket. That's abysmal. So, Jason Holder needs to find some form. Ruston Chase versus Sammy Perumal. If you look at that, these guys are our lead spinners. And if you look at it, averaging 50 and 104, that's very concerning. So we don't have any spinners who's getting us quick wickets, breaking partnership, or stemming the flow of runs in the middle. So the concern for 2022 is West Indies spin attack. Well, we were playing at home and in Australia, so spin is not really going to do a lot of damage in the Caribbean. Well, depending on the surface, and not going to do a lot of damage in Australia, but certainly we need to have some quality spinners if we're going to be looking to contend against the top team in Test cricket. And so now, one thing I want to close off with this video is the player of the year for me. And the player of the year for me is Kyle Rico Mayers. Kyle Rico Mayers, he's just, the Test cricketer for West Indies for me of the year. So, look at his stats displayed on the screen. He's able to win you games with the bat. If it doesn't come good with the bat, it comes good in the field. If it doesn't come good in the field, it comes good with the ball. So Kyle Rico Mayers, he has that all-round ability, and he has been doing it this year. Twice against England, once against Bangladesh. with both bat and ball. And then against Australia, had a couple of early wickets where nothing was happening, and he was the one to get rid of Kawaja. And he had to break that partnership, that big partnership with Smith, with Labuschagne and Kawaja. So, as I'm saying, Kyle Gomez, he's my player of the year 2022. So, I leave you to tell me who would be your West Indian Test cricketer of the year, and also what is your favorite Test cricket moment for West Indies for the year 2022. Alright, so make sure to just like, subscribe. Thank you for watching, and do have a wonderful day.